You can look
The
at
question that I have, and I'm going to pose it to Jimbo here, is what questions do you pose to identify the counterpart's needs, whether they're perceived needs or the needs that they don't even realize that they have? What questions are you going to ask to reveal what your counterpart in the conversation's needs are?
And my immediate answer to this is, number one, to pose questions. And posing questions in a vacuum doesn't really work. So you begin by building, finding out who the person is, and finding out what they're, or the person, always a person, what the person needs, or who they are, and you find out things common ground. And then you start to probe into, or ask questions that are developing an insight into their needs. What you call it needs, call it their preoccupations, or their things that bother them, or something which is an opportunity which they have, with unrecognized opportunity.
Put me as an example. Okay, let's say I'm an example. What would you ask me to identify what my needs are?
Well,
what do you perceive my needs are?
Well, number one, I think that a fascinating need that you have, or a fascinating opportunity that you have, is to shape your ideas, as you're doing to me, into bite-sized, if you will, analogies or phrases even, so that they can be chewed upon or understood by others. And what we're finding is that many of the concepts which we can sense are real and have opportunities and something happening that's going to move the conversation forward and in fact engage people and maybe cause action like a sale. They are talked about by many different people. How do we both understand them, gain insight into you and me, for instance, or into others who we're talking to, how they sell, how they discover needs, wants, desires, opportunities in others and in other places.
Can I jump in? I'm sorry. I'm jumping in because I think you're drifting away from my question, which is okay. So let me rephrase. Let me rearrange the question or the scenario. I have a vision or an idea of what I think your needs are. Okay. You have a need to stimulate a sales mindset and effort, and in my perspective, I imagine that you need your team to be actively selling, and you're trying hard to identify how the ways in which people can start to sell. Okay. Now, I think of your solutions, which is, all right, we need to educate your team proactively in the mindset of sales, and have the sales discussion be so internal to their ideas that they're looking at the amount of, the right pricing. So you need to drive more business, and you need to have people think more responsibly in terms of sales. And my question is how can I aid in your effort and inform and educate and motivate people to be sales driven? Now that is something that I think you are in need of, and what I pose to you is, I've just evaluated a need that I perceive of yours. Please, quid pro quo, what do you perceive my needs are?
Well, John, I think you're actually grassroots. You are in the middle of.
Are you gonna ask me a question? Are you gonna ask me about my needs or no?
Not yet. Not yet. You asked me a question. Do I ask you a question in return?
No. I'm just asking. I posed to you what I thought your needs are, and how was I close?
No, you're right on. Right on. At least some of them. The real salesperson, what I'm reading anyway, what I believe, what I've observed is that the real salesman determines something which is perhaps unrecognized by me, and finds ways to bring a novel idea to me about how to solve my problems. And so that, in a way, what I'm doing in presenting the various elements that I do, which I'm referred to as the Riddler because I can't quite say what it is, then you, as an example, try to figure out what it is that I'm talking about and what are the needs that are there, the unspoken needs. And if, as you go back into that, that's where you become the great salesman. That's where you engage me. That's where you bring me solutions, because I can't see all the problems. I can't see them. I'm trying to put words to them, and I'm trying to point it to them this way. I try to put them this way. And then where they cross, we can say, well, wait a minute, there's something going on here. And you grasp it from your point of view, and you say, look, Jimbo, this is what I think, this is where you can do it. Follow this particular trail. One of the things that you and I, for instance, have been discussing is this artist learning, and the idea of picking out, in a way, marketing nuggets out of books, and building into trying to find out what the guy's talking about, finding something that rings the bell, in me, that says, wait a minute, this sounds really good. So then I pick it out, and currently what I've been doing is I will read it, read a section, and then try to take it apart. It's amazing how much real meaning there appears in these in a simple paragraph, in the one which we've been dealing with right now, from the book Selling in the New Market Space, Burns and Snyder, is I can go line by line, and each one they're trying to tell you something which is so profound. So I take it apart, and I'm taking it apart into, for instance, trying to get other people. Then I put it out there. Not everybody grabs it, and I put it in ways like if I asked somebody to read the book, well, I don't read books. Okay, let me give you a little section, and we'll study this. And what happens when you're a really good teacher? What happens when people end up in a class where they're really learning, where they've met somebody who can carry the message to them? Those are the questions I'm posing. And how do I do that? And I'm looking into myself to find out how I can get to that point, because I recognize the need to transfer or to expose each of us to the nature, the actual physical nature, if you will, or the nature of selling. What the process, the science of selling, if you will, or the art of selling, mixture of the two.
Can I just offer you that I think that you're learning, and I think that it's appropriate to reflect, but I do think that your practice in this concept of, one, finding out what other people's needs are. Right now, you're talking a lot about your own. You're circling around the topics, but you're not applying it to any. You might be applying it in certain areas, but I'm asking you specifically, and I want to leave you with this, and maybe you can come to me and help me identify what my needs are, because I have specific needs, I have specific things that I need help with. If you can absorb a little bit of my needs and my things that I need to happen, we together will engage in this and grow out of it. You need to put it to practice. My point with you is you need to put it into practice. You're a lot of hypothetical, and you need to look at somebody else and apply these terms, ideas, and put it to work. Put it to action. That is my note to you. I hope you respond and take it for what it is.
Sean.
That's Roger Smith News for you.